Hello, Trinity. I'm Chief Todd Hansen, here enjoying a cup of coffee in my office. Talk to you about your internships upcoming and some advice and tips I might have for you on entering the work world, if you will. I kind of picked this spot in my office because right behind me on the wall here is this cool plaque that my latest intern, name's Asia, got for me after she was done with her internship. Now, you don't have to give me a plaque to be an intern here, but she was very happy with her internship and it helped her finish college. And we're very happy with her. And in fact, we hired her. So worked out well for both of us. But I love the plaque. It's a nice gift she got us. So as I said, my name is Todd Hansen. I'm the police chief here in Maple Heights. And I've been here for 23 years. And I've been chief for about 3 years. As you can see today, I'm in civilian clothes. I'm in charge of a lot of different people here at the police department. We obviously have road officers that are in uniform. We have detectives who are in plain clothes, more like me. We have civilian staff that work in the records room. I have corrections officers that wear a uniform. We have crossing guards, and I have auxiliary officers. So I have a mix of people, and so some days I wear my uniform, and I have a blue uniform and a white uniform, and some days I wear civilian clothes. But whenever I do, I pay attention to detail with what I'm doing. And I think that's one of the first things I wanted to stress to you guys is that when I'm in uniform, I press my uniform, I shine my shoes up, I make sure all my gear is clean and in the right spot because making a good impression is important and you only get one chance to make that first impression. So that's important when you're interviewing or meeting your employer or who's going to be doing your internship for the first time. So that's a good statement that you can only make a first impression once. But on the other side of the coin, you're going to meet people probably more than once in your life. And if you made a poor first impression, that's okay. Keep going. Keep trying, learn from your mistakes, and do the right thing. Perseverance in your relationships is important too because nobody's perfect. So when I do interviews of applicants, I always note what they're wearing and how they presented themselves because in police work, as in most jobs, we deal with people. So even my staff that works generally in the office, like the records staff, they still are dealing with paper and records, but they're also dealing with people that come to the window. And everybody obviously has fellow employees, so you're dealing with other employees as well. And so you have to kind of be a people person. But when people come in for their interview, if I see that their clothes are all wrinkly or that they got dirty shoes or they didn't do their hair that morning or whatever it may be, what do you want me to think? I mean, if this is an interview that you've wanted a job for and you're coming in and you had all this time to prepare and you knew what you were doing, so this is a big day for you, right? If you didn't prepare for this big day, what am I supposed to think as your employer that you're going to do on a day-to-day basis? So you think that I would think that you'd be ready and prepared normally on just a regular day? Exactly. No, you wouldn't. So that doesn't make a good impression. So understand that the people that I hire here in Maple Heights, they represent the city, they represent the police department, and overall they represent me. And I want people to know that I want people that care about the way they look and the way they're going to act. And that tells me that they're going to send a good message to others that the police department cares about them and that that's the way I am. So all this comes down to having respect for yourself because you have to respect yourself to respect others. So if I see someone that cares for themselves and cares for their equipment, then I know that they respect themselves and that they have a much better chance of respecting me and the police department by extension. So let me tell you, I'm not a huge fan of these video calls and video conferences and video meetings, but we have to do what we have to do because of the COVID pandemic. I still like reading hard copy books. I read the news. I don't watch, news apps, and I much prefer in-person interactions. And you know why that is? Because over 90% of communication is nonverbal. So you can listen to me talk, but seeing and video's okay because we do get to see some of it, but it's not as good as seeing in person. And body language, facial expressions, little micro expressions, those are the hard things to catch. It's all this different kinds of body language. They tell tons of information and it's hard to see on a video, so especially hard to catch in texts and IMs and DMs and all that other new age stuff. So we'll work with what we have, and we'll see if you can get through this video with me. The question is, are you going to pay attention to it? Because that's an important question. So pretty much everybody sees and hears most of the things going on around them, right? The question is, are you listening and are you paying attention to what's going on? How many times have you maybe been getting scolded or getting in trouble by by a parent or a teacher or maybe an elder at church or something like that, and you're like kind of rolling your eyes and looking away a little bit, and maybe you're making sucking in some air through your teeth, showing you're not happy with it. So you're hearing and you're seeing what they're doing, but you're not really listening and paying attention, and you're sending a message, obviously. So in an interview or conversation with somebody, it's rarely apparent when they're paying attention and when they're not. So make sure that you pay attention. That's important when you're interviewing with things. So that's some of the first little lessons, and we haven't really started talking about things that are important. So how many times have you done something like this or been in a school thing like this, and people, especially older people like me, are talking to you and lecturing you or telling you or advising you about the realities and difference from where you are and the real world, okay? Well, let me tell you, I think a lot of people like myself have good intentions, and we want to pass on our experience and advice to you. But I think you're in the real world. Your real world is real for you right now. You're in school, and everybody your age, for the most part, is in school. And so that is the real world. And what's happening is you're getting ready to transition to the professional world or the work world, which is just a little different. Still real, and it'll be more real to you then. But we're just trying to give you some advice that might help you go along while you're doing this. So I've already passed a few things on, but I'm going to add just a few more. And the things that I'm going to talk about today are not police-related things, because I know a lot of you aren't going to necessarily be police people. But the qualities that I'm going to talk about today don't require any special skills or training, and anybody can do them. So, and these things are very important for just about any job. One is be polite and respectful. Okay, anybody can be polite and respectful, and as I said earlier, we deal with people in just about every job. So whether it be your supervisors, or your co-employees, or other people that you have to deal with in the public, be polite and respectful. It's easy, it doesn't cost anything, and employers like it. Trust me. Speak directly and clearly. Don't mumble, don't speak too low, and don't speak too fast. It's hard to understand. I have a couple teenagers. I have 4 kids. 2 are in their 20s and 2 are in their teens. And sometimes the teenagers speak really fast. I actually have hearing aids too, so sometimes I mumble a little bit. And I don't mean to. I just can't hear myself well, and I think I'm talking loudly, but I'm not. So it's important to be direct and be clear. That helps. The other thing I'm doing to the camera, at least, and kind of to you by extension, I'm looking at you. I'm not staring at you and being freaky about it, but when we first meet, I want to make eye contact with you, and while we're talking, I want to be looking around and make sure that I'm making eye contact with everybody in the room, or just the person I'm talking to. It lets people know you're listening. So it's very important to have appropriate eye contact with people. Looking down all the time seems shifty. You want to make eye contact. You should be thorough. Do a good job. Complete what you're doing, and always pay attention. This goes along with paying attention to detail, but be thorough. If you get a job to do, get it done, and do all things that are related to the job. I hate, as a small example, if I tell my kids I have 2 dogs, if I tell them to feed the dogs and they give them food, but they don't fill up the water bowl right next to it, the water bowl is right next to it. You know that you should fill up the water bowl. Why do I have to tell you? That's doing a complete job and being thorough. Do that without asking. That's important. Employers like that. Do the obvious things. Be a good listener. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. What does that tell you? It tells me you should listen twice as much as you talk. Now you know. Okay, it's important to be a good listener. The best leaders listen to their people, and they're good listeners. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. I think everybody's heard that one, and you should know that one. Don't do the things to others that you don't want done to you, and treat others the way you want to be treated. It's kind of part of being polite and respectful. It's just the right thing to do. Having said that, here's our next thing. Do the right thing. all the time, and you never have to worry. You never have to worry about getting called into the boss's office. You never have to worry about, if someone's going to catch you, because you do the right thing. Get your job done. You know what to do most of the time. If you don't know, ask a question, and then, do it. A related thing is do things right. So, for instance, I'm sitting on a couple chairs here, and if you were vacuuming, the right thing to do would be to move the chairs and vacuum under the chairs, right? If that was your job. But you could probably get away with not doing that a couple times if that was the thing, because people don't generally look under the chairs, but it's not the right thing. So do the right thing, and you don't have to worry. That was the last one. And do things right. You also don't have to worry. They're slightly different, but they're related. Be professional. Now, what does that mean? That kind of means being a continual learner, means always learning new things about your job. And most of all, it means you get paid for what you do. So we think of professionals like a professional basketball player or a professional, football player. It could be, we think of a CEO of a company or some big high-powered executive or a doctor, something like that. But pretty much anybody that gets paid for what they do is a professional. So I'm a professional police officer because I get paid for what I do. But you could be a garbage man, you could be a janitor. So high to low. But when you're a professional, you're dedicated and you work hard to whatever your job duties are, and that is noticed across the board. Garbage man might not seem like a very important job, but when garbage men stop doing their job or don't do it well, there's garbage all over the neighborhood. And like in New York City, if they stop collecting the garbage for a couple days, which has happened a few times, the city fills up with garbage and it pretty much shuts down all businesses. So there is no unimportant jobs, and you should do the job well, be dedicated, hard work, because those are not skills, those are values. And you have good values, you should practice those values, and you'll get far in life. And if there's values that you see from other people that maybe you didn't learn growing up for whatever reason, and as you get older, you meet people that have these values that you like, and try to do the same things that they're doing if they're successful, and you'll probably be successful too. So look for mentors. Another big thing is do what you say you're going to do. This kind of goes with taking some responsibility, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. But if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to get something done, get it done. And if you can't, let somebody know. Hey, I'm a little behind on this, but I am still working on it. It's communication, but make your word mean something. People will remember that, because not everybody does it anymore these days. So do what you say you will do. And as I said, take responsibility. People don't expect perfection, but people expect you to take responsibility, and people being your employers especially. I don't expect my people to be perfect, but I expect them to try their best and to try to not make mistakes more than once. So when I ask you if something happened, just be truthful and take responsibility for it. For instance, I just had someone crack up one of the bumpers on the car, hit a raccoon. It happens. There's no way to avoid it, but if somebody asks you about it, just take responsibility for it. We'll get it fixed. It's no big deal. Any job is like that. As long as you're truthful and take responsibility for your actions, people will think you're a good employee. So there's many different skills for different jobs, and at the police department here, we have a lot of things you have to learn. You have to go to the academy. We have 16 weeks of on-the-job training when you first get here, and that's after almost 6 months of the police academy. So, and a lot of jobs are like ours. There's a lot of things to learn, but I can teach the skills that are needed to deliver the services we need, or if I had a company making something, I can teach you how to make that product. So all these different skills that are needed to work effectively can be taught. What I can't teach, or what's very hard, is to change the behavior of adults. So when you get out into the work world, you're going to be young adults, and you're going to have this whole time that you were growing up and in school like you are now, that you were learning all these different things and behaviors that we just talked about. If you don't know those things already, it's very hard for me to change how you act. Only you can change how you act, and I don't want to spend my time as an employer changing how you act. I want to hire somebody who acts well already and learn these things as a young adult, as a teenager, and as a younger kid. So that's what I look for. I look for people that exhibit the qualities and values that I want, because those are the hardest things for me to change in somebody. What that means for you is that when you go out into the workforce as a young adult, If you have these good values and you exhibit these good values and give examples of these good values that you practiced in your life, I might take a chance on you, even though you have less experience than somebody else I'm interviewing, if I don't see the good human quality values in their life. So I'm going to take a chance on you because I can train you the skill. I can train the skills I need in you. I can't. It's not as easy to get those good quality values. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's important. I'm going to kind of start wrapping it up here. I have a good friend of mine. He's my neighbor. He owns his own business. Very successful guy, and he has a thing that he says about people that he admires or that he likes, and I really like it. And so he'll say, like, whatever, this guy or this gal, or put in a name, Joe or Sally. Say, Sally's a quality human being. And that just means all around. That pretty much sums it up. As an employer, I want quality people so that I can deliver a quality product or a quality service. And I can teach you how to make the product or deliver the service, but I can't really teach you how to be a quality human being if you don't know that already as an adult. You should already know that. So that's what I'm looking for. And these things don't cost any money. You just have to practice what you were taught by your parents and your teachers. So there's many other things I could discuss, and I wish I was here in person to answer any questions you might have and specific questions about the police department. So maybe when COVID's over, I can come and talk to you guys and we can do this in person. But I'm going to summarize some of the main points real quick that we talked about, just so you remember some things that I think are really important about getting a job. Pay attention to detail and be prepared. Be responsible, learn from your mistakes, and put in effort for whatever you're doing. Be a good people person, because people are who we deal with. We might make things, we might deliver services, but we work and deal with people. Be professional and practice your values. Respect yourself and others. Be a good listener and make eye contact with people. Do what you say you're going to do. Be a person of your word. Do things right and do the right thing. And most important, what's the last thing we just talked about? Be a quality human being. That's what we're looking for. Quality human beings. Okay? So, thanks for listening. I hope we can meet in the future. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Thank you for your time.